Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Libra and life. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Now, Libra often will live their life really very strongly connected with peace, compromise, and balance. They often like to disperse interests very evenly, and also their relationships as well. Libras can be dominated by relationships, and if they have a number of friends, close connections that they're involved in, they often will try to distribute a fair amount of time for each of these people. Now, the thing is to Libra again is very relationship oriented. They're often live their life appeasing others or trying to do so. Libra will often collaborate with others on things as opposed to doing them by themselves. Now, it's interesting. Some of you may have heard of renowned tennis players, Venus and Serena Williams. Venus Williams has Libra rising, and Serena is a Libra sun, and they're often involved in doubles matches. And it's like doing things together. It's that Libra is synonymous with doing things with another person, another partner. It's a sign of partnerships, and also as far as Libra goes, they will often spend a lot of their existence fighting for justice. They abhor injustice. They're generally a peaceful sign, but the thing about it is, if there's some kind of injustice that is going on, they will often fight that until the bitter end, and because they are the sign associated with the law. And the thing about Libra is they're often about uh, really weighing the pros and cons. The thing about it is sometimes opportunities may be missed for Libra, I believe, considering their ambivalence and indecision. They may be spending so much time weighing the pros and cons and trying to, and going back and forth on an issue, that the opportunities may simply dissipate into thin air, sadly, in a number of instances. And the thing about sometimes they have trouble making decisions because I think if it involves like two people, for example, they might think, well, if I make this decision, it might alienate this person, but if I make this other decision, I may make this other person angry. And sometimes they just have a lot of difficulty in situations like that because they are so much about keeping peace in their existence. Now, and really a person that epitomizes Libra energy is Tom Brady. He's an NFL quarterback currently with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was with the Patriots for a number of years, and I see Tom Brady as the consummate team player. And having Libra rising, I'm sure he balances a lot of the energy in terms of his pass distribution proportionately with the talent on the team. Now, he did say at one time though he wouldn't throw to he wouldn't throw to a person if he didn't think he can help them uh, win the game. But the thing about it is, when you have receivers on the team, most of them, if you got starting receivers and tight ends on your team, you generally they're starters because they can be beneficial to the team's success and can help enable a team to emerge victorious in a game. Now, the thing about Libra too is keep in mind that the sun, I mean, you look at the sun as in its fall in Libra. Now, these people during their lifetime may suffer a fall of the sun. Well, the ones that have the sun in Libra, not the moon or ascendant, but people, those of you that have the sun in Libra, you may suffer like a figurative fall in a lifetime. Sometimes it could be a literal one that may lead to a figurative one. Like in this example, it's a classic example. I think you look at some of you may have heard of, he's a prolific stuntsman, Daredevil, is Evel Knievel. He's very popular in the 1970s, I would say especially, and he suffered some actual literal, I mean, falls when he crashed his motorcycle, and I'm sure it took some time for him to get back up, so to speak, and recover from the injuries, and then do what he was doing previously. He was in motorcycle crashes. He was involved in divorces are associated with the zodiac sign Libra. Legal issues. There was some assault charge, I believe, on him, and the thing about it is, Libra, this is something where, I mean, they often will suffer that kind of fall, Sun and Libra people, but they're strong enough to get back up at some point in most instances, I would say. And I think speaking as far as life goes, one of the life lessons that Libra will learn, or I think they need to understand, is that they don't always need another person to validate their world, their existence, and who they are as a person. Um, I'm not saying, I mean, relationships are good. It's good to have a significant other, and if you find the right partner, the marriage partner, then that is great. But you don't have to just seek somebody just to try to make some completion. It's like if somebody uh, loses somebody, and for some reason, whether it's due to somebody loses a significant other due to a death, or some other reason, or if there's a divorce or separation, you don't necessarily have to be in a hurry just to fill that void, so you can say, oh, I have somebody else in my life. It's important and it's imperative, of course, to make sure it's the right person. I think Libra can almost compulsively try to find somebody, because if they lose a person for whatever reason, because that's just the way Libra is, they need to have that other person. And keep in mind, they're the opposite sign of Aries. They're the antithesis of Aries energy. Aries is about being more independent, self-reliant, and often Aries will might avoid trying to find somebody, because they don't necessarily want to acknowledge that they need some assistance or help in some way, shape, or form, and they like to just kind of do a lot of things just by themselves because of that. And anyway, another thing is that also keep in mind, I talked about the Sun in Libra being in its fall, and Mars in Libra is in its detriment. What people have to understand, Libras out there, is that the Sun is connected with our vitality and our energy, and Mars is as well. And the fact that the Sun in Libra is in its fall, Mars in Libra is in its detriment. They don't have, I mean, don't get me wrong, Libras have more energy on average, I would say, compared to the zodiac signs Cancer and Pisces, but their vitality is not always exorbitant like Aries or Leo. And they need to be careful that we talk about Libra being the sign of balance, that they make sure that they're dispersing their energy evenly as far as their mental and physical activities. And too much physical activity might get Libra a little bit run down, I would say, and that they just need to be careful not to. I mean, if they're trying to appease others too much and there's too much physical labor involved in doing so, they have to understand that they need to take a break, and periodically, and not be. They don't always have to be dominated by other people's interests, because sometimes it could wear them down. Now, and again, looking at Libra, very negative manifestation uh, in their life. They might, I mean, a more nefarious Libra might spend their life, a part of their life, being a relationship disruptor, or it could be the person that ingratiates themselves with others and groups in order to improve their own social status, having in their stature in life. So that is something that Libras need to be wary of. Most Libras seem like, I mean, they're very balanced people, and they're fair-minded, and won't do things like this. But you have somebody's got very exceptionally afflicted Libra energy. This is where it can come out, express itself in a very negative manifestation. And you might find some Libra sadly putting on a superficial charm in order just to attain what he or she wants. And those are things that Libra needs to be guarded of, and they're not just that they need to make sure they're being fair-minded and not just being friendly, putting on a friendly facade and charm just in order to obtain certain things in the person's in their life. And you could also I could see Libra in some cases very isolated, as being like a compulsive suer. When I'm saying suer, I'm talking about lawsuits, putting lawsuits on others as a constant means to just to resolve issues, even if it's something trivial that may not necessarily have to go to court. I mean, especially say if they have their if Pluto is making an adverse aspect to their Libra Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, because Pluto can be obsessive, compulsive energy, or even say if Pluto in their chart is making an adverse aspect to their seventh house cusp, because the seventh house cusp is associated with lawsuits, and these are some things that Libra needs to really be careful of during the course of their life. But again, in summation, Libra often does live a very balanced existence, and they like to be equitable and fair to others. They will often, during their life, listen to what the other person has to say. Doesn't mean they're always going to agree with it, but they will try to give the other person their fair amount of time to air their grievances over a situation. I see Libras as being quintessential moderators and mediators as well, and because they are so fair-minded and balanced. So anyway, people, that will conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.